What's going on?
You have won.
Um, yeah, that didn't really. I'm not really sure what actually happened there. Like I said, I really do think they should prevent provisional players from actually like accepting these challenges, or at least give me the opportunity to. I usually don't start the stream before I have a game, but yeah, I am playing handicap games now for 5 to 12 Q. And my challenge is down here if anyone wants to accept. I don't know if anyone will want to accept. It usually takes, the problem is it usually takes me a while to actually come up with a game. It does take a while for me to come up with a game. So I'm just going to announce this on the thing because I do actually need to find a game, and announcing it might actually help me find a game because it's really hard sometimes to find a game on OGS. It's just like people don't really want to play as much. So my challenge is down here for anyone that's interested. 5 to 12 Q. I might eventually just extend it to 4 to 12 Q or something around this area, but it is going to be handicap. It is actually going to be a handicap game. At least two. I don't really know if it's three or four or whatever, but hopefully I can get someone to actually accept this game because, that's actually the hardest part about teaching on OGS is actually getting a game because there's not nearly as many people. There's actually not nearly as many people on here as the other servers, and I'm really, really hoping. So
Game started.
there we go. There we go. This does make it easier. Like I said, getting a game is pretty difficult. We're gonna do handicap
Pass.
2.
Remove the dead
No,
stones.
no, 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 no.
Game resumed.
Handicap 2. I'm gonna pass.
Remove the dead
No!
stones.
What the heck?
Game resumed.
Alright, you know what? I'm gonna play one first. Alright, there we go, there we go. There we go. There we go. Alright, like some people do actually get confused by that because they're not used to like people passing on the first move. So yes. I always suggest people actually play the corners first before they approach. I still don't have to do anything here, but I guess I'm going to respond to that. This is kind of an old Joseki. This is slightly white favored, but not by very much. It's like half a point, which doesn't really matter unless you're an AI, which none of us are, so it doesn't truly matter. I think this does favor me a little bit. He does get a lot of influence over here. He does get quite a bit of influence over here, though. But at this point, I am going to take the two corners. It's solid territory for me, and we're going to see like how this influence actually works. He can opt to double Hane. He can definitely opt to double Hane and take the territory, which sometimes I actually do that. So here, I think the best move is actually to shrink his influence. But for me, I'm going to see if I can grab a Sente here. That's generally not a very good move. Okay, at least I've grabbed part of the corner there. And here I'm going to probably either try to come up and see if I can get a response here. Okay. He's going to try to build his territory there. This is a bad move. I'm going to go ahead and do this. Okay, that's not bad. Obviously, this is a bit of an issue for me, but I'm not going to actually do that. I'm going to shoulder hit on this one. Okay, this is interesting to what I actually do. I think the correct move is actually to jump, but I actually want to get more advantage out of this. So I'm actually going to jump this way, which is not what I recommend you do. But this is a handicap game, and that's also kind of a weird move. This is definitely not how you want to play this. This, like, letting white come out like this is never favorable for black. Yeah, this is just not favorable for him. I don't think I have to respond to this anymore. So there's obviously some potential here, but I'm going to shoulder hit here. I'm not really afraid of this group dying anymore. I think like the correct move is probably I might be better off extending more. Yeah, like I said, I'm gonna take a gamble here and come down here with the tiger's mouth. I'm gonna elicit a response, but I do want to destroy his territory. This is not advised play. That's fine. This is actually not very advised play for anyone because that's definitely not advised play because you're letting me essentially get off scot-free here. That's not worth it. I don't think that's worth it. He does have this move here later. I'm not too afraid of it because I can just come straight down here. See what he does on this one. It's interesting. See, that's not good because like you just let me jump out here. There's not enough territory here. Like if your big influence only gets you like 10 points, like think about how many points you gave up on the corner. So that's not a good play. Can you do this? Oh yeah, there's a problem with doing this because then he can come here. But then I can just yeah, if I do that, that's problematic too. So this is actually a big problem for me. I can connect here and this doesn't work, but then again, he can go here. So I don't really have much of a choice here except to connect this. But I'm not really that much in danger here. I'm not really that much in danger at this point. This, however, might be a different thing altogether. I'm going to go ahead and just do this right now. That's one eye. That actually solves a lot of my problems. No, he can extend up. That's not a good move. There's not much territory down here to destroy anyways. I can just do something like this, but since he did that, I can also do like a lot of other things to live here. I don't want him wrapping out the side any more than this, so I can do that, but that doesn't really help all that much. I I don't like this because then he comes down and does this. This is fine. I'm just like trying to figure out what the best move is. I figured he'd do something like that. This, like, if I wanted to live, this isn't actually too hard, but I want to do more than just live. I'm going to take a shot. Okay. That's definitely not the right move, because now you can't... if I do this, he can actually pick back up here. So in this case, in this particular case, I actually have to... I should have to do this, but I'm going to extend out, because making this... That's perfectly fine. Because making that this way, essentially, like, I have to fix this first, because he can come out this way. So I don't want that to be an issue. He should have just done that, honestly. I'm going to ignore that. In fact, I can probably connect this, but that wouldn't be... it would be Sente. I'm going to go ahead and connect this. See if he, like, see what he does. He can play this. I'm going to connect. He can easily live here. It's not a big deal. This is already alive if I do this, so I'm not really afraid. So, like, if you look at the territory situation here, black really isn't any better than white now. I do have the Sente at this point. And I have the Sente at this point largely because he has no more threat on me. So I'm going to jump down here. If I play this and then come up here, it is alive. That is the correct play. But, so this has no real threat on me anymore. I think he still is probably slightly ahead in terms of points counting. I'm actually going to invade. You shouldn't actually invade here, because on G2, yeah, like if your opponent plays G2, honestly, there's just not that much in terms of, like, there's not that much if your opponent plays G2 in terms of, like, points. So playing there, honestly, is not the best idea. Invasion's not really that useful here, by the way. I mean, that's really what I'm getting at. The invasion, honestly, is not that useful here. He has the over. So I need to get rid of the over on Sente. This is not a move I would do, but I want to see how he reacts. This is alive, so I'm not really afraid of that. I think this is alive anyways. Yeah, it's alive. This is alive because he can't really do anything about this. I can just take this if he does that, so it's not a big deal. I'm pretty sure that shape is actually alive. Huh. That's interesting. Okay, so this is troublesome. I'm just going to take the bottom route here. Okay, this is a... does this... I'm actually just going to do this. There's a decent amount of points here. And that was kind of my whole purpose anyways, so this is fine. And I also got Sente on that, so that's good. Maintaining Sente is very, very important right now. It's actually, like, it's incredibly important right now to maintain Sente. I really want to do this move, but he has the extension up here. I'm going to do this first. That didn't really work. No, that really didn't work the way I wanted it to. I'm not trying to live out here. I'm perfectly fine. I'm just trying to get a Sente here so I can actually do this. Mission accomplished.
Undo requested. Undo granted.
Yeah, I was just trying to make it so he can't connect up here. This does actually put this group in danger, though. I will say that. It does actually naturally put this group in danger if he knows how to attack it. Which he might, actually. So I did just put that group in danger. Actually, this whole group is pretty much dead. If he knows how to attack it. Okay, yeah, so the thing is, like, if you actually just do this, I have to connect, and then you can just like jump down here, and this group is going to find it very, very hard to live. So what I'm going to do is make sure that that doesn't actually happen. Actually, no, I'm not, because I think white's still not ahead here. You know, the thing is, like, this might actually be a pretty big move anyways. So I'm just going to go ahead and do this. I do need some extensions up here. So this move isn't very good. It lets me get too many of the others. I can't take Sente here, so I'm just going to go ahead and make this group alive. I'm not going to like play with this that much more. I'm definitely going to make this group, well, I mean, he could have extended here, I guess, and let me take this. But if I do this, it makes this group alive. So I'm not going to just play with this anymore, because obviously if this group dies, I lose. So I'm just going to go ahead and play that. There's just not that much points here is the main thing. There's really not that many points here. You essentially have a couple, and I can't do this because
10.
then he has
9,
that cut right there.
8. 7.
But if I just
6. 5.
do this, I don't really think he has any real way to... Because, you know, the thing is, like, as much as he gets points here, I also get a couple of points here. So it's not really that... it's not that good of a move for him. No. That opens that up, so no. That's actually not a really great move for me either. Because he can come this way and I have to connect now, but that's fine. This is pretty big on the corner. This is pretty big as well. So I'm going to go here. If he does that, I'm going to extend this way. So he does that. I'm pretty sure this is alive, especially since this is Sente. I can't do this actually, because coming up here and then
10, 9, 8.
I'm just going to go down here because I'm not sure about the survivability of that other group. Does this actually work? I don't know.
Ten.
Okay, that's not a good move. Because oh crap. Oh, he can't extend there, can he? Oh, Viatari's no, it's
9, 8, 7,
fine. Viatari here. Come down this way. You do have to be very careful about these things when you're black, because you just give me a Sente and a bunch of points now, so that's no good. Not really sure what he's trying to do there, actually. I can do this. But you also have to remember that this is Sente here, so I don't think this group's really under threat in any way. But
10, 9,
okay, screw it. Like the time thing is really like screwing me here. You know what, I'm just gonna do this. If he wants those two, fine. He can have those two. Yeah, the time thing is like really, really screwing me here. This is pretty big right now. So I'm actually, no, actually this is bigger. I'm pretty sure like I was alive over there. That doesn't really make any sense. So I'm gonna connect. That has some value, but there's probably bigger values out there right now. Just gonna go ahead and honey this. Come out this way. Well, that's big enough for me to do that, I guess. Because I do have to connect this. So it wasn't Sente, but there's enough out here for me to do that. This I have to connect. There is something he can play here. So I can't fix that by doing that. So I think I'm going to play here first. Yeah. He actually has to respond to that, by the ways. He does actually have to respond to that. If he doesn't, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. I might have been able to... No, I don't think that would have worked. So I'm going to play here. That might have not been the best move, actually. Yeah, that's fine. Trying to eke out like very small advantages here that he absolutely has to answer. Now, technically, he could have actually played this, and I would have been a little bit screwed there. This is actually, like, I think the biggest move right now. Could take that stone. I can connect this one down here as well, which I do actually think is slightly bigger than that. Yeah, I think I'm going to do this.
10, 9,
Actually, I'm going to do that. That is Sente, because otherwise I can do that. And then I'm actually going to connect this. Okay, that's not Sente. But that is a couple of, I should have probably done that first. That's pretty big. So as you can see, like in handicap games, if black just plays the regular Josekis, or black just plays regular Josekis at the beginning, it is actually way harder for white for me to actually beat him, because like there's not as many chances for me to actually take advantage
challenge received.
of him. There's nowhere near as many chances for me to actually take advantage of him at this point. When he does that, as when like if black plays fighting moves, you might actually learn more in teaching games that way, honestly. But realistically, it's like it's much harder to win if you choose to fight, obviously. This doesn't really do anything. Probably going to gain a couple points on the end game here. Oh, snap. Forgot about that. What if I extend? No. It's not too big of a loss. It's fine. It's not too big of a loss. It is a little bit of a loss, but it's not that big of a loss. Let me connect this one. This doesn't matter because I can just take it back the other way. So if he plays this, then I can't connect. So this is actually a little bit bigger now. So I'm going to connect this. That's okay. I'm also going to connect this. Actually, I'm going to Atari this first. I don't think there's anything in here. Atari. There's nothing in here because it's all connected. I'm going to take all the... I guess you can do this first. That doesn't really matter, actually. So yeah, like playing peacefully is, it makes it harder for white to actually win. I mean, I'm still ahead in this game, by a fair amount, I would think. Definitely, I definitely think I'm ahead in this game by a fair amount. But it's I'm not like winning by like 500 points like like some of the other games, because when you do something like this, there's just not as much chance to actually attack or to actually take advantage. Oh, actually, I'm way ahead. You know why? Oh, no, this isn't cut. I completely missed the fact that all of this actually might have been dead if I cut over here, but didn't really have a chance to do that, so I probably messed that up. This is Sente, so I'm going to do that. He has to respond. He doesn't have a choice here. There's no thinking about this, because if I take this, then this is. This might actually be worth it. This might actually be a point. This is definitely a point, because that's actually the right move. Because if he just does that, I get a point, and I don't have to fix this. But now, since he does that, I actually do have to fix this. So that's actually a very smart move. And not only do I have to fix this actually might be a point now. Yes. And this is Sente, yes. So this was definitely the correct move. But I can actually counter that correct move with this move. Because if I cut him, he's alive here, so he should just... But he can't... Yeah, that's actually the right move as well. Actually, no, it's not the right move. You know why? I can do this and just cut him.
Undo requested. Undo granted.
I can do this and just cut him. Like, I just mentioned this before. Like, these are the little things that you have to watch out for, because they can easily change games. I mean, I was already winning at this point, but the thing is, like, had it been his win, this easily topples it the other way. Yeah, he has no choice. I'm going to kill this. Now, I do have to be very careful here, because there is I'm going to connect. I still have 2 liberties, so this is fine. I can also just not connect this. So I do have 2 liberties here. So when he does this, I have to connect this or take this. If I don't, I lose. Obviously, because if he plays here, I can't connect, then I'm done. If that happens. That, I'm just going to make sure I don't make a mistake. I'm going to take these 2 stones. There is nothing down. There's really nothing down here, because I have an eye here. And he can't take, there's nothing he can do about this down here, because if I block, and he can't play S18. So I'm going to play this. Also, I know he's going to do something like that, but I can just connect this way as well. And I don't think he can actually do anything. So here there isn't really anything, because if he does this, I connect, he connects, I can just go ahead and Atari. I'm going to go ahead and take this because I have to. Also, in that situation, in this situation, like if there is a problem down here, you would just connect this way. We're going to connect this just to make sure I don't make any more mistakes.
Pass. Remove the dead stones.
So I'm ahead by 45 points. I would be ahead even without this. I'd probably be ahead about 20 or so without this. How many is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 20 points, 21, 22, 23, 24. It's like 25 points. So I would be ahead roughly 20 points had it not been for that. So let's go back and actually review this game. Let's actually go back and review this game. You know, I got to figure out a way to get like the chat on screen while getting everything in there, and it's actually quite difficult to do that. So let's review this game. We go here. This is, you know, the thing is like here you would probably play this or play this. It's just a better shape setup with your thing in the corner. Also, I do recommend that black take the other corner. This, you still have an invasion here later on. So I don't particularly like that move. I take the corner. Approach is fine. I don't think I really have to answer this. I could have honestly just approached here as well, but I decided to take the safe route and do this. It's okay. It's not a bad move. That's fine. So obviously, like this, like if I approach on one of these, I mean, you can just black, not that move. Black can just kick, and white doesn't have the 3 extend. White can only 2 extend here, so it favors black. So obviously, I didn't do the approach. I went ahead and invaded the 3-3 directly, and we basically get this Joseki. And then I went ahead and invaded this 3-3. Although I think like approaching here would actually be okay, but I went ahead and invaded this 3-3. Same Joseki. Black obviously has a lot of influence, but you have to know how to use that influence. So that's not a good move. You can see I lost about 2 points on that move. Regularly, I would probably play something either like along this lines or along this lines or something. In fact, like this actually might be the best move because it does put that on a threat. So I would actually play that. I'm greedy, got the corner. Usually, black, like here, black would not respond. Black would probably jump here or something, or possibly just come up this way. Although I don't think that's good either. I would jump up here if I was black. It makes this Moyo a lot scarier. So, like the whole reason I did that was I just wanted that response more or less. Like I solidify most of the corner, and I still have Sente. So generally, yeah, like this is not big enough to be worth responding to right now. This is like there's just moves like this that are way bigger. I get the jump up here. I was fishing for a response here, but he did play right. He did not actually respond there, I believe. I don't know how good this move is, though. Because you're essentially giving me another Sente here, and I don't actually think that's good. You do have G16, but I'm not too concerned about that. You also have H18 later on. So the shoulder hit is not something I recommend. For this particular... For right now, it's actually okay though. That's not a bad move. I mean, like realistically, I would probably still do this just to get more territory on the bottom. This is not too bad though. That's not the right move. The right move is generally to do this. Black would not actually do that. Actually, here, you know, the ladder doesn't work for white, so he might actually do that. So I don't know. Maybe just play this. I think this would actually be okay in this situation because of that, because of the cut. But this is not the right move. I said that while I was playing as well. It leaves too many vulnerabilities. That's definitely a wrong move. You know, white can do something like this. I guess like this wouldn't actually be all that good for black. but you do get that over there. You can also like, I mean, this honestly, this would actually be a lot better for black if black just attacked this way. Playing this move leaves too many. There's too much. You're leaving too much here for white to get out. So I'm gonna play. I play here. I still think the best play might have just been this. I mean, this isn't gonna work for obvious reasons. There's too many cuts. But this actually might have been the best play. I decided to play here. That's a really, really bad move. In this kind of situation, I actually don't know what black would play. If I was black, I might just go with this. I mean, this is not good for this. White could actually do that, I guess. But there's a lot of cutting points for it. And if I was white, I would actually do that. Or you could do this, because black is not going to want to block you at this point. This cut is just too powerful. Or you just ignore this entirely and then just force this or something. You know, like, there's not a really good way to respond to this for black. Because white took the point that black really wanted. Forcing me out this way is never a good idea. You can see on the points board, each move you force me out, you're losing more. This I probably should have extended out more. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to do the shoulder hit on the other side. This group isn't completely alive yet, but it's pretty strong. I don't know. I don't actually know what the best response is here. I'm guessing it's probably this. After you do that, this is fine. I think that's fine after you do that. You definitely want to do this, because if black does this, you can always have the Hane up. So I think you definitely want to do this. At least once. Jump. That is actually not a bad move at all. I took a big risk here. I think if black extended here, white would actually be in a decent amount of trouble. But this is definitely wrong. This coming up this way is definitely more important than going this way. This way lets me connect. This way, I mean, I guess I could threaten, but it's not really that big of a deal. Remember, like, white actually has two separate groups that you can attack. You don't want one of them connecting that easily. Obviously, like, this does just make it worse. And I probably shouldn't have played there at all. I probably should have just Hane'd here. Because this group, like, if black plays that move, this group is way more under threat than that move. But I went ahead and just went over. Plays here. I play here. That's not a good move. I mean, it leaves out this. You do have this move, though. And, I mean, I don't know if this is actually a good move right now. I feel like I would just do that. I mean, this is not too bad for black. You still get the territory here. And if you still get the territory here. And if you really want to attack my group, you can still come here. I still don't if you really look at it, I still really don't have a way to live. I would probably do something like this, but then you can just come down here and I wouldn't be alive. And it's actually pretty hard. It's nearly impossible, I would say, for white to figure out some way to live over here. So yeah, like, that's not a good move. I'm going to try to come out. You definitely want to play on the outside. Because this is like one of those things that weaker players miss all the time. Because if you seal me out on the outside, I have to figure out a way to somehow make two eyes in here. There's a limited amount of space, and it's very, very difficult. Let's just say that much, to make two eyes in here. The thing is, like, I think black was a little too obsessed with getting this territory, but considering the fact that this is like 9 points here, you're just not like that's just not like the right intuition, the right direction to go. You're protecting too few points. Like, even here, I would do this. Even here, I would definitely seal on the outside. Like, you're trying to protect too few points, and you're not getting enough out of this. So I'm going to play here. I don't think this works right now. No, this definitely doesn't work right now. Let's come straight down, I guess. Yeah, that doesn't work. But yeah, that's just like an intuition issue. Like, you're trying to seal off 10 points here, and you're basically letting this group go free. This is probably the better move. This honestly is just not too big right now. Like, compared to what's going on out here, like trying to save this point, probably not great. And also, like, if I wanted to save this point, I probably should have done this. Gonna connect. That's the right move. Gonna go ahead and do this. You wouldn't block here. Like, this is, if you really want to kill me, that's a much, much better move if you want to kill me. If I do this, you can connect. I don't have any eyes. And remember, right now this wouldn't work, but if you do fix this problem out here sooner or later, you do have black does have the option to go L12 if he like connects this first. So I would actually, like, if you did this and I did this, like, this would actually be a lot more threatening now. I would still do this. I guess this wouldn't work right now. This wouldn't work right now, but, you know, like, even if I do something like that, you can easily do something like this. And it would be very difficult. It would actually be very difficult for me to actually get out. And in fact, I don't really see how white can actually live here. So, like, how, like, the attacking here, like, the attacking sequence here for black was just kind of wrong because you're too obsessed with getting this territory and you didn't really make the right sealing moves. That's why, like, when black does this, it's imperative that white actually comes out here. So that was my mistake. I left a lot of opportunities for black to actually win this game. Also, this might have been better. That's definitely a mistake. That gives me one eye right there, and it makes it a lot easier for me to do that. This is also a mistake, by the ways, because it takes out this opportunity later. It takes out, like, some Aji later, just to go ahead and finish this. That's not a good move. There is some potential, but sealing this out here is sealing this out here is actually much, much more important than going down there. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this. By the way, I didn't do this because I didn't actually do this because this is not good for, this is obviously not good for white. Extend out. You're kind of making this worse for yourself right now. So here, once you do this much, this actually might be the right move. I guess not. I mean, I guess that would be bad. If I do this, like, this probably becomes available again, is what I'm saying. I can't give you this, otherwise I'm going to lose. So I do have to play something like this, and I actually don't know how this turns out. I don't know how this turns out. If you really look at it, that's pretty much, that I would say is pretty dead for white. White can come up here, I guess, but it's very questionable for white, right? I like that. So you definitely had the opportunity to cut, like, this group off. This isn't that big. This is not that big because, yes, it does give me those points. But, I mean, like, this gives me an option to fix this here. This definitely gives me the option to fix this problem here. Obviously, like, this is still, if you do this, this is still a threat to white. I have a feeling like I should have just done this, and because like that's just more solid. Of course, like after I jump, this isn't nearly as effective. This is a bad invasion. I've already explained why. This exists, so there's not any territory there in the first place. I just did it to see how he would respond. That's also not a good move. I would have never invaded this in a regular game anyways, so I don't actually know what's the best move here. Maybe just something like this. Just make sure you can't connect back. He would jump up. You would do something like this. Probably this, and then white would do something like this. So the thing here is like you would still do this because this is Sente. And then if you really want to attempt to kill, you could do something like that. Because there's actually no eyes in here. So that's why like this is going to be alive. That's not the right move. You have to do this. Once you do this, you're pretty much forcing. Also, like, you can do that. That's why leaving this open is bad. Forcing me to connect, and then you can just do this. So, like, me allowing black to actually build out here is a very, very bad idea for me. Let me actually open the YouTube up again, because I need to be in my studio. Definitely need to be in my studio. So yeah, that kind of like. So the thing is that you have to realize that this group is not alive yet. This is Sente, and you can actually kill this entire group. There's no actual eyes down here. I can try my best. I can try to do something like this, but I mean, all you really have to do is make sure I don't get two of the blockers. I don't really see a way for white to actually live here. So I think that group would just be dead if he actually played that right. And I also said so much during the game. I'm like, yeah, that's in trouble. But I'm gonna see if he knows how to kill that right. So the thing is, like, since this group doesn't have two eyes, it's very detrimental for white to make black, to get black to play really thick over here. So when I did this, I still had the same kind of thought. You have to remember, like, this is still a thing. I can't cut here. I can't actually cut here. So he blocks. I do that. I come down. So see now, like, you know, this move is like -70, right? Like when I did this move, I was like, yep, I'm dead. I want to see, like, because if black does this, white has to connect. If white does this, black can come down this way. And even if white takes it right here, there's no actual, you can see there's no actual eyes down here. So this entire group is actually dead. So if I do this, and then black, like this isn't good. Like if black does this, white's just kind of dead. There's nothing that white can actually do. So like that's why I said like, yeah, I'm probably dead if he plays this right. But you didn't really catch on that this was a critical move for black. So he does this. I'm going to come out here, which takes away this. Because now, you know, like it's much harder to deal with white at this point. I still think that would have been fine, but you know, like here you can actually, like, it's still not a guarantee that white's alive, obviously. Definitely not a guarantee, but there's a lot more options for white. Realistically, instead of doing this, I should have just done this. to make sure that's alive. But I decided to take the advantage on that. That's not a forcing move, so it's not good. This move is actually correct because if I connect here, you do this, and then that's still, you know, like with this, it's still very difficult. Now that you have this stone, it's still very difficult for like white to actually live. So like a lot of it has to be focused on that group's not dead. Once you do this, I'm going to immediately do that. Once again, this is an option. Because if I do this, then you can just continue doing this. Now there is more caveat to this because now since white is complete right there, if you do this, white can do something like this, and there's obviously like more to it now. There's obviously a lot more to it now. It's a little bit more complex, definitely. But remember, like, if white Ataris, you don't have to connect. You can always just do that. And honestly, I definitely would have done this first. Now, it does put this group in a little bit of danger, but not really, because this is still open. So I do this. That's alive now. There's actually not too many points here. There's just very limited points. This is probably a lot bigger for me. But I wanted to take the Sente. This is fine for me. Like, I restricted your gain to like 3 or 4 points. I gained 3 or 4 there myself, so that's perfectly fine. I'm going to take the Sentes first. If he did this, I would have extended back in. This might have been an okay trade for black, honestly, because there's a lot of points that he actually can get rid of in there. And it actually is probably better than him just doing this. Here, I'm not really sure. I think I would have just connected. I think that would probably be the best result for black right now. Letting me do this first is bad. Extend down, then now he has no choice. This, I'm pretty sure I just made a mistake. It's not that big of a deal. I lost maybe 2 points here because like this is actually pretty big coming here. He got those 2 points. It's not that big of a deal. This, if black plays here, you can just go under, so it's not that big. I'm just going to take advantage of all the Hanes first. That's fairly large. That I definitely have to fix. And then, you know, this is fine. I somehow forgot that. I somehow forgot about that. That's my bad earlier on. This he has to answer because if he doesn't, then obviously I play here and I can kill that. So he has to answer. Just taking advantage of all the Sentes first. This he does have to answer because if he does not, I can play here. Actually, no, he doesn't have to answer that. That's my bad. He doesn't actually have to answer that. I can't squeeze there. I made a reading mistake. That was my mistake. This is actually pretty big because there's 2 or 3 points down here, plus there's 4 points up here. That's okay. Yeah, that's my mistake. You don't really lose that much over here, though, because it's Sente for you. If he takes, you can just take it back. Like, it might seem like you lost a lot of points there. There's not a lot of loss there. So you can see, like, here I'm already up by, like, 20-something points. So the game wasn't really on the line here. But the reason I did this is he had to connect. I can make this. If I make an eye here, I don't have to fill in this point, so that's 1 point, and I don't have to fill in this point, so that's 2 points there, plus the extra point. So this might actually look like 1 point, but there's actually 3 points in here. That's how that was supposed to be played. But obviously, like, the sequencing, that makes it about 45 points apart. So that's how this particular game actually went. Oh yeah, I forgot. I can have the pop-out chat. Thanks for reminding me. I can actually have the pop-out chat. I totally forgot about that. The pop-out chat makes this a lot easier. It's still kind of a little bit annoying because now I can actually see this. This is a lot better. Thanks for telling me that. Thanks for reminding me, man. So yeah, so that's how that game ended. That's the review of this game. A pretty thorough review. The main mistake was attacking this group and this group. A lot of mistakes were made. If you attacked both groups at the same time, I definitely would have been in a really bad position. And also, I left a lot of openings for you to actually kill this group. So there's definitely a lot of lessons to be learned there. So I am going to play one more game. Create, and I'm going to wait about 10 minutes as usual for people to actually respond. And if no one responds, I will do something else. I am getting more viewers though on my channel, which is good. My goal on this channel is to get people up to the Dan level because there's actually like a lack of players to play on OGS at the Dan level. Everyone ends up playing on Fox, not because we like Fox more, it's because there's no one to play on OGS.
Game started.
10Q. So we're going to play Handicap 4. I think people enjoy watching the handicap games more than the even games because, like, my opponent doesn't really have any chance at all in the even games.
Pass.
Whereas in the handicap games, it's a much closer game most of the time, even though I'm not giving full handicap because I suck at playing handicap generally. It does force me to think of more solutions, and it does make the game significantly closer. And the thing is, like, seeing how I get an advantage on weaker players, I think it does actually help to see like where they actually make the little mistakes. So I do think I do actually think people enjoy the handicap. Now that I have this pop-up chat, I can actually respond to people on stream while I can respond to the chat while I'm playing. So usually, obviously, in even games, I would finish the Joseki, but right now I'm trying to just like approach all the corners before he has time to, I guess, repair all of them. That's not a good play. Kicking out would be fine, but I don't think sacking the corner is a great play. I mean, you don't sack the corner, but you do let me attach here. I don't know about this particular Joseki at this point. And one of the issues is that see, like with handicap 4, this particular that doesn't actually work. So that does give me a bit of a problem. So I don't want to sack this entire thing, but yeah, whatever. This is actually not a good play for me because this ladder does not work. At least I'm pretty sure it doesn't. I might have been better off just like coming up first, honestly. Or doing something. Oh, that's definitely the wrong play. You definitely have to take that. So that's basically like 15 points off his 40-point head start. At least 15, I would think. You definitely have to take this. And Because you definitely have to take this, take the stone, and because the ladder doesn't actually work, white's actually in a pretty hard spot if you really think about it. White's not in an easy spot there. Usually that is bad. You- Um, Usually that is bad because in an even game, by the way, it's not responding to this is okay. It's perfectly fine. Um, Usually that's bad in an even game. You don't want to do that in an even game because like the ladder does actually work, but when the ladder doesn't actually work, it's kind of it's not that great either. Like it's really not that great when the ladder doesn't work. Thing is, like, not responding to his kick here is okay because he spent 2 extra moves. But now I do have to respond to the kick. So I don't want him coming over top with this stone here. Let me bring the chat back up. Keep on it. I need to. I don't exactly know how to attach this chat here without actually like it going away every time I click. So I don't want a situation where this is forced. So I guess I'm just going to do this first and try to get the 2 eyes. My invasion in the corner here does not work because this group's too weak right now. I know you're trying to secure the corner, but leaving this up is not a good idea at all. That's definitely a big mistake. Because the reason you do this is to make the outer moyo. The reason you do that is to make the outer moyo, and basically letting me do this destroys the outer moyo. And there's a lot of problems with what you did here as well. There's a lot of problems with this because later on I still have like moves like this. It's not it's not a consequence right now, but later on it will be. Black is still very much ahead in Black is still very much ahead here. I need to figure out. I need to ask Derwin what he actually uses to keep the chat like constantly here. Pin the chat like here, because this would actually be really helpful if I could actually pin the chat here. It's not a bad idea. I'm going to invade here because I can't let him get all that territory. If he gets all that territory, even if I end up killing this, like I probably lose. I probably would have actually. I might have actually just played it here instead if I was black. That's not the right move. Because now you can't Hane. You just Hane. Yeah, I mean you can Hane. It just won't work as well. Letting me get out this way kind of like defeats the purpose of you doing this. And plus, I still have this invasion later on. So this is not good for black. This invasion right now is not good because this group is still not settled yet. As a matter of fact, I'm actually going to play here instead and just kill that invasion. The invasion's not worth very much altogether. But I much rather have this group settled. Oh, no, okay, this group is pretty much settled, so I don't really care now. The influence here isn't really a big deal because it's very, very limited in terms of, it's very, very limited in terms of like how much territory he can get, right? So I mean, I usually would not play this right now because if I was white, if I was black, I would just ignore this. But I want to see how he actually responds. That's the wrong response if you're going to respond. The best play for black right now is to do this, probably, and get this territory and let me have some of the outer. Or you can actually do this first. Actually, that's probably the best response, doing this first. But then, like, I might actually just opt to do this and fight. So it's, yeah, he's going to do that first. If I do that, he connects. I don't like that. He does that. I can come up this way, but that probably won't help me. Yeah, it's better just to cut my losses right now. There's not a huge amount of losses here, but it's better just to cut them. And the thing is, like, it might actually help with, like, my Hane here. I don't think he should necessarily respond to this, but he does have a lot of cutting points. It does make him very vulnerable to cutting points. He did get a nice piece of territory there. That doesn't really help him. I can play this. I usually wouldn't, but I can play it right now. The thing is, like, now I'm not going to play. This doesn't solve his problem up here, is the other thing. I still have the option to play this, or even this later. And there's still sort of problems there. So here, I'm going to attack this group. Playing this does actually make my attack here stronger. I'm not in a hurry to kill these three because it's worth maybe 15 points. So getting stuff like this is more important. Coming up here is more important. That's not going to do anything. So I'm going to come up here. But like my group is no longer under threat. So while he can build the Moyle here, it's not that big of a deal. As you can see, I'm building a large territory here. But I do actually have to... he doesn't actually have to respond to this. I would probably work on getting this thing alive. The thing about doing this is that you do leave a lot of cutting points, and it does, like, now I'm just going to kill this group. Like, if I do this, it's dead, right? So now I've gotten this territory and maybe a lot of this territory here. That doesn't do anything. This territory isn't that big, and, you know, I can still kill the stone here. I'm going to head this out because I can come across this way. I can Atari here and then come across this way. With this stone here, it becomes a lot easier. That's true. I could minimize the main window a bit. It would squeeze my view, but I actually think it's okay. So there's not much territory here. I'm going to try to get as much of this as possible. So I'm going to go approach this. Like, this does take away this over here, but, you know, it doesn't really matter. He could invade here. It would give me some problems. But even me doing this isn't that big of it. It isn't really that great because I'm only gaining a couple of points here and I'm giving up a lot over here. You wouldn't do that because that doesn't really help anything. There is an opportunity for him to actually get this entire territory. I'm just going to see if he can do it. There's a lot of cutting points here too, by the way. I do realize that. Exactly what I wanted him to do. But that does leave this group very much vulnerable. I don't really know if doing that's actually the best choice. Remember, he has a problem here. He has a pretty big problem there. He is very thick here. He is actually really thick here, so he could try to kill this entire group if he wanted. If he really wanted to try, he could kill that entire group. Oh, this is very dangerous for me. I'm just going to go ahead and do this first. See, this is why, like, trying to get this territory like crazy isn't very good. It's definitely like why trying to get this territory is like crazy isn't very good at first, because you open yourself up to things like this. But here's another thing that you can actually do in these kind of situations. So I'm going to sacrifice these three. Those three aren't that big. Actually, no, if I do this, I can't sack those three. Oh, I just messed up. I did just mess up. Yeah, what I should have done is just blocked before I did this. now I can, huh. I mean, I might have to sacrifice those 4 now. That's exactly what I'm gonna have to do. I'm gonna have to sack those 4. This would be a huge mistake. You take these 2. And then you connect this. You do lose a lot here, but you do destroy this territory. And that's really what you're after right now. I think the biggest move is actually taking the stone right now. But he has problems over here. And this is always Sente for me, so I'm going to take this first. I'm going to do this first. Actually, no, I'm going to take the stone. The corner's really big. That's some points right there. Those are his, but I can just kind of do this. This is going to be bigger than this. Like the corner is at least 10 or so points. This is maybe 6 or 7. This is also really big. So I am going to do this next. This also makes, I mean, obviously I can do this now, so. I'm going to go ahead and do this. I don't think there's anything here, because I don't think I can kill him here, so I'm just going to connect. There's nothing there because of that. Nah, it's not that big. This is pretty big. This might actually be decently large, honestly, but I don't think it's that big. There might be a problem here, so I might have to do this first. That's just a bad calculation. Why not? What?
You have won.
Yeah, so let's go back and review this game. This is going to be the last game I play today. There's definitely something I want to explain over there. So we get handicap 4. He starts with like 40 extra points. It's fine. I feel like I should have just like approached elsewhere. This is okay. It's not bad. So obviously, you see his advantage go down by 20 points immediately. This is definitely this. Remember, like, I essentially have to do this. And either I can like here, like, you know, like this, I don't think this ladder works, because if this ladder works, obviously it's moot, but I don't think this ladder works if he has the 2 stones down there. That's the problem with handicap, that, yeah, this ladder doesn't work. So this is actually, like, this is, like, doing this is not too bad for him. Obviously, I could do this, but I probably wouldn't. I probably would just, I would probably just do this and let him have the 3. This isn't actually that big of a, this isn't actually a win for white, unfortunately. So, yeah, I probably screwed up. I definitely screwed up there a little bit. Or I could, you know, like if I was just going to give him that, maybe even something like that. This is not a big win for, this is actually not a big win for white. So you got to take that stone. I'm going to force these. It not responding is the correct way to do this. That's not generally like, if I don't respond, you should do that, or you should just like secure another corner. These moves look big, but they're not as important as securing another corner. Once again, I definitely feel like this is a better move than any of those. Or just, you know, secure a corner. One of those two. Letting me extend up, that's not the best, that's not the most effective way. You would probably just do, you either do this, or if you want territory, you just do this. Kill off my eye space and let me run out. As I'm running out, you can just secure the territory down here. I think that's generally how it's supposed, generally how you would play it. I run out, you secure territory down here. I do more, you know, you just come up top and you build your moyo while attacking these stones. The purpose is not necessarily to kill these stones. There's a good chance you will not be able to kill these stones, but it doesn't really matter if you kill them or not, as long as you gain enough advantages and secure enough territory while he's trying to run. This gives me a little bit of a base. That's a huge mistake. You definitely have to, you probably have to do this. Remember, like, I'm not necessarily alive in here. So if I do something like this, yes, I am most likely alive in here, but even if you just do this and secure the outside, like, yes, I'm alive in here, but so what? You have all this influence on the outside. You can keep pressing, or you can just secure a corner or something, and your advantage is actually much, much greater than it was, because this influence on the outside is going to be much bigger than me living down here. So it's like, Go is a constant game of trade-offs. If you can trade better than your opponent, you're going to win the game. It's as simple as concept as that. If you can actually trade better than your opponent, you will win the game. That's very bad for black, because yes, you did secure the corner, but you also let me basically destroy your moyo out here that you were building. I still think this is better. The invasion here is just not as effective as if you do, like, this is a very greedy enclosure. And I think the non-greedy enclosure is better. So I actually attack down there. Here I would probably do this. I would probably do this. I mean, that's not a bad result for black, because black can just do this afterwards. I mean, that's a big moyo. You still have plenty of territory. So I would have probably done that. He does that. I come up here. That's not a good move. You just want to Hane this. It really doesn't matter if white lives down here that much, because you're not going to be able to kill white down here anyways. You're not going to be able to kill white down here. This is just bad because obviously, you know, you can't Hane because there's obviously this. And that's generally very bad for black. So it's actually really important that you don't you don't really like give up this liberty yourself. If you give up that liberty, you're giving up a lot of points. Extend out. Lets me get a Sente here. Like I said, this isn't a good move. That's the way it's supposed to go. I get absolutely nothing there. However, if you do this, I mean, it does make it a little bit more worthwhile for me. Even if you just do this, I really can't do anything. This is like, I think I would have played this too, which is what you did. I think that's fine. Squeezing out there, I think is okay. Capturing. This is obviously the right move here. And then probably like doing that. Or even like, doing this. Sorry, even essentially doing this, because that takes care of this cut here. Obviously, like letting me get an extension on Sente, and if he doesn't answer, I do have the option to do this. It doesn't quite work right now because I'm still. It's not really a big threat though, because he can just do something like this, but it doesn't really look all that good. But I probably would not have answered that myself. I would have probably extended here. So I'm going to use one more to threaten this. He ignores it. That's fine. I jump here. He does that. I'm going to go here. I don't think this is probably not necessary. Like, this is better for white just to do this. Come up here, finally take that. That's way too greedy for white. That move doesn't actually do anything. Like realistically, like this is just probably the best move for white. Even if he attacks in here, you can just secure this territory, and you're only giving up like 10, 11 points, which is fine right now. This is not a good move because in the future it gives black a way to do S7. It's perfectly fine. Obviously, that's actually a good move, the attach. This is a very bad move. He should have just done this. Because now I'm in trouble. I am in like some deep trouble if he does this. So what I should have done is just play this right away. When he Ataris here, I can do this. He does this. Oh, actually, no, that's fine. I kind of messed that up again, I guess. So yeah, I should have just went ahead and take it. I was thinking, I forgot that Atari. I mean, you can do if the situation turns really bad. If the situation turns really bad on you, like if this wasn't an Atari, which it is, the thing is like if the situation turns bad, you can just do this, give him the 3, and then come out here and kill those 2. Of course, he would kill that as well, but at which point you would probably just do this, force him out and take the Sente. That is always an option. Obviously, this doesn't really work here. I basically forced the 4. I know a lot of people are, like a lot of lower ranked players will actually just connect this, but that's definitely the wrong move. That basically separates all these 4 and it gives them this huge territory. And you're still not alive, so you still owe them like a move here. So that's definitely like a very bad result for white. So you just have to figure out like which one is the right side to sacrifice, and in this case, it's definitely that side. Like, this is not as big as this right now. And that's basically the end of the game. He had one chance right. He had a chance right here to really, really hurt me. that I made a mistake on, and I just kind of made a really bad read. I really did just make kind of a bad read in this situation. I tend to make bad reads a lot, which is not very good for me, obviously. This is like a very problematic move. If he actually did this, I think I would be forced to do that and essentially just give. I suppose I would have to give him that. I mean, White's still ahead despite this, but like I would actually have to give him the upper because um, if I don't actually give him the, oh no, I can do this. Never mind. Oh no, I can't because if you give him the lower, um, uh, that actually might work. Actually, let me check this out. Huh. Interesting. That actually might work. What about this? I thought this was dead actually. Oh no, you can't. You can do this. Yeah, this is dead. So a clamp here. He would have to extend down, and you would just come up. Yeah, it's dead. So you would be sacrificing the lower group, which is way bigger, and your upper group's still dead anyways. So you can't do that. You would actually like in this case you would pretty much have to sacrifice the upper group in order to live the lower group. So this was like a big lost move for me. He just made a mistake. He should have just done this. Cuz I mean, yes, I can do this. Um you would go here. He would so like that actually should be how it ends up. Like he gets pretty much this entire territory. He gets this entire territory and you get this down here. That's how it should actually end up. So that's how that works out. But realistically, like the biggest mistake is this one here. That decreases half his advantage. And the other thing is like more of a directional concept thing. Like this is just going to be way better than coming up top. I used to make this mistake all the time. Like cutting off his base stones is going to be way more than better than coming up top. And when White does something like this, you just need to fix the outside. Don't be afraid to let White live. You're still ahead in this. You have to remember, you're still ahead in this game. Don't be afraid to actually let White live. If it's like Gote for him, because think about like even if you let him live, think about all you get. You get to secure. You basically secure your corner. And you also get to like, you don't even have to do that. Like you also get the influence on the outside, plus you get Sente. That is a pretty big win for you. So you don't always have to kill White. So those are the two concepts that I think you should actually learn. Why didn't I play B4 when he played C5? C5 is here, right? Let me check that. Why didn't I play B4 when he played C5? Oh, you're talking about much later in the game. Okay, so let me actually answer that. So I didn't play that. I could have played down here, but this is granting him a Sente. This is granting him a Sente. I would have to take that. Whereas if you actually look at what happened, I just took it. If he doesn't answer, I have the option of B5 later, but he did answer, so I get Sente now. So like I'm basically fighting for Sente. That's why I didn't do that. Because Sente right now is more important than that. Because he had to take an extra move to seal me off. That's why I didn't play. Sometimes it is better to play B4. Sometimes it's better to play B3. It just depends on the situation. This situation, it's better to play. I believe it's better to play better to play b3. So that's why. All right, that's going to be the explanation. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Hit that bell notifications button. And I will be back tomorrow, hopefully.